Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Mattie T, as they call me. Some guys. Anyway, check it out. I know if you were looking at my Facebook status, you saw that what I have on deck for dinner tonight. We're gonna do a nice eggplant parmesan. Our ingredients are right here, and we got some lamb chops for those of you who like protein with your meal. So here we go. I'm not gonna waste a lot of time. I'm gonna show you guys how we got it here. Now, some of you that are on my friends list have had the special privilege of having dinner with me and the missus. And by the time you guys arrive, the dinner's already done, so you don't really know what went into it, but you just know that it's good and I'm leaving full. So tonight I'm going to give you a very special sneak preview into me doing what I do. So let me tell you about my ingredients here. You already know what's on the menu. It's eggplant and lamb chops, but here we go. So here's some pre-cooked, I cooked it already, meaning pre-cooked. I cooked it about, took the last batch out of the oil probably about 15 minutes ago. And what you have here is just some breaded eggplant that I seasoned with, I did a little bit of salt, not a whole lot of seasoning, maybe a little bit of salt, a little bit of garlic powder, a little bit of parsley, and a little bit of this 21 spice seasoning I got. If you hold on right there for a moment, I'll show you what that looks like. This is one of my secret ingredients that I use here from, you get this at Costco, but it's organic, no salt seasoning. And the salt that I use is pink Himalayan sea salt, so I don't mess with the iodized table salt. I heard some horrible things about it and why some feel like it causes high blood pressure and among other things. So I try to stay away from your typical table salt and just deal with sea salt. My preferred sea salt is pink Himalayan sea salt, and my wife typically orders that from Amazon. But anyway, let me get back to it. So you got the eggplant. I told you what I did. I seasoned it. I breaded it with some a little bit of white flour, and I dropped it in some what did I use? I used grapeseed oil. Grapeseed oil at about 300 and I want to say about 360 degrees. I cooked it just to brown it on both sides. I don't count minutes or anything like that. I look at it to see, when it's going to be done. And so that's the eggplant. That's going to serve as the base of the eggplant parmesan, of course. And here you have some whole milk mozzarella. Now these are two different mozzarella cheeses that you see here. They both are whole milk mozzarella. But one of them is one that's left over from the last time I made it. And it was just a different type of cheese. So that's why, not different type. I mean, obviously it's mozzarella, but it was a little bit darker than the one that you see underneath that I just shredded tonight. So that's my mozzarella cheese. Typically when I'm doing Italian type of casseroles, I will use ricotta cheese, or the proper pronunciation as I've had it told to me is ricotta. But, I found it, when I'm using ricotta cheese, like when I'm making lasagna or something like that, I'll usually mix it with a little bit of egg white just to kind of smooth it out because it's in there kind of tough. And so what I found recently is that using cottage cheese can give me sort of the same consistency but lower calorie, and I don't have to do all the extra work because it's already nice and spread out for me. So there's the cottage cheese. These are pretty much the ingredients. And I got my sauce right here. And I'm going to tell you something special that I like to do when I'm making Italian casserole dishes. So let me grab let's go ahead and put the sauce in here. Now this is just, I won't say run of the mill. This is a special Michael's of Brooklyn marinara sauce that I got at Publix. I've never used it before, honestly, but I like anything that looks like it's pretty much fresh ingredients that doesn't have any preservatives in it or any type of xanthan gum or anything, any type of preservative or any type of artificial anything like that. So this is pretty much just imported Italian tomatoes, fresh garlic, fresh basil, Italian olive oil, oregano, fresh parsley, and spices. And they make sure to tell you nothing else. So I'm going to take this and dump it in my bowl here. Okay. You smell that? That's so nice. And these guys are out of Brooklyn, so I think they just make this in their shop or whatever and put it in a jar, bottle it, and just ship it out or whatever. But anyway, I'm hoping it's pretty good. Now, some of you might say, Mattie, you're not an Italian purist if you're not making your own sauce. You know what? I make my own sauce all the time, but there are times when you do not have time or you've been working all day like I was today and you just don't feel like making your own sauce from scratch. So it's nice to have a nice backup marinara on deck that you like to keep in your pantry or whatever. So that's my backup. So now, you see here that I poured the sauce in the bowl. I'm going to show you the magic that takes place when I'm making an Italian casserole dish. Greens. I like to use fresh greens in any of my Italian casserole dishes. Why? Because one, I love fresh greens. I love them. Fresh greens are good for you. You get a lot of different vitamins, minerals, nutrients. You get a lot of, you know, you even get protein from some fresh greens. So what you have here is a mixture of kale and spinach that I sauteed in a little bit of dry white wine. I will typically use something like, I don't like Chardonnay, but I like to use Sauvignon Blanc when I'm using a white wine. So this is Chenin Blanc mixed with some, or I got this sauteed in Chenin Blanc, some olive oil that's been infused with basil and some other herbs and spices, and then I got some minced garlic in here, and maybe about a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in there, organic apple cider vinegar. Why apple cider vinegar? Because it gives it that tiny little bit of zing that I'm looking for. So pretty much once I'm done sauteing this, and again, you don't want to cook it until it's brown and lose all your nutrients, I take it and just dump it right over in there. Okay, I don't have to show it to you. You know what's going on here. All right, I get all that goodness right down in there. And that's about it. So I'm going to put that in the sink. I'll just put it back on the stove here. And I'm going to stir this up and just get that nice and mixed. Get a nice little blend going in there. And once I got that blended to the consistency that I want, then I'm just going to go in here and start layering. So let's start layering this. And you know, when you're layering it, you just got to kind of get your hands in there and get dirty a little bit. So now you're looking at this eggplant. Again, I cooked this in grapeseed oil. I got to tell you, I'm not a big fan of vegetable oil or canola oil. Or do your homework, folks. I'm not here to do a nutrition lesson or anything like that. But some of those other oils are rancid, and they don't have the smoke point that grapeseed oil has. And number three, grapeseed oil is a very healthy oil for you. It's very healthy. So I tend to prefer grapeseed oil to some of the other ones. And this is a little bit of a game of jigsaw puzzle here. I just kind of want to get a nice little coverage at the bottom there, get a nice coating so that I can go on. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to throw a little bit of sauce on the next layer here. And some people like to go, you know, let me do this. Let me kind of give it just a little bit of a border. And you can do this however you like. You don't have to do it the way I'm doing it here. But I just want to give it a little bit of a border there just to capture a little bit more of the sauce. And we're going to go in with the sauce now. I'm going to spread that nicely on there. I got to tell you, my mouth is watering already thinking about what this is going to do for me. Oh, I know I sound like a, oh man, I'll tell you what. I sound like a guy who has not eaten all day, and I kind of haven't. Well, you know what? I had some lunch today. I won't lie. I had a little bit of lunch, but I worked out this morning for about an hour and a half, and you know what? That was just, actually I worked up for about 2 hours this morning because I did an hour and a half of cardio while I was watching Netflix. I was sitting on my recumbent bike and watching Netflix, and while we're in that topic, I got to tell you, that's a great way to, while I'm talking to you about exercise, and you can see I'm removing the packaging from my cottage cheese here. I'm going to take that and just put it to the side, and we're going to stir it just a little bit to kind of mix that moisture around and get that cheese in there, and get some of that liquid mixed around there, get some off the top. And I like to go sauce, cottage cheese, and then go mozzarella. So that's typically how I like to do it. Now, sometimes what I'll do, and I'm not going to do it tonight, but sometimes I'll put a thin layer of herb like a parsley or something like that, or maybe some fresh basil on top of my ricotta cheese. Not ricotta, sorry, this is cottage cheese. I like to put a little layer of that herb on top of there before I go in there with my mozzarella, just to give it a little bit more flavor. But we're not going to do that tonight. And wow, you know, I'm starting to wish I'd gotten a bigger tub of this stuff. But you know what? I think I'm going to come right in at the right amount here. So we're going to go in there, and we got that on. And then boom, now we're just going to go in here and start sprinkling this cheese. And we're going to get that cheese nice and coated on there. Let's get both hands in there. You know, 2 hands are better than 1, right? And God gave you 2 hands, use them both, right? But sometimes 2 hands can get messy. As you can see there, I dropped a little bit of cheese on the counter, but that's okay. I'm going to clean it up later, so when I'm done. But anyway, getting back to what I was talking about there, you know, just doing a little bit of exercise this morning, and I was on the recumbent bicycle, and you know, I forgot what I was talking about, to be honest with you guys, but I'm rambling a little bit. I really enjoy cooking it. It's so relaxing to me, And I love my own food so much better than eating in a restaurant. One, because you know who cooked it. Two, you know the ingredients that went into it. You know the process by which it was prepared. And if you know what you're doing and you got skill, I'll tell you what, Bobby Flay, he really doesn't want it with me. So, Bobby, if you want a piece of this action, come get it, Bobby. Trust me. I don't care how many chef schools you went to. Let me tell you something. There's nothing like the artistry of cooking where you feel it. You know, this is about soul. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna go in here. We're gonna fill in the gaps here. This is gonna be so delicious. Oh my gosh, I'm kind of geeked up right now thinking about it, to be honest with you. All right, now we're gonna go in here, and I'm almost over the top of this pan, so I almost wish I had gone with the two smaller dishes now, but we'll find a way to make this work. You know, I mean, if it bubbles over, I'll clean the oven. You know, that's what they make cleaning products for. So, but this is, I typically like to see, as you can see, I put 2 layers there. I typically like 2 layers to my casserole dishes. So if I'm doing, I don't care if I'm doing a lasagna or if I'm doing an eggplant Parmesan, as you see here. And I don't eat chicken anymore for reasons I really won't get into. But back when I was making it, if I were to make a chicken parm, everything I do is 2 layers, because that 2 layers, and you know what? I got just enough sauce here to sort of get it in there, and then have a little bit left over for maybe if I got a small pasta dish or something like that, or if I just want to throw some noodles in the oven one day. So I have a little bit of sauce left over. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour this back into the jar. Let's see if I can get it in there without spilling it all over the camera. And don't be hoping that I get this on the counter, all right? Just because I told you I'm going to see if I can get it in there without spilling it, all right? Some people go to NASCAR to see a wreck. But you're not going to see a wreck today here. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to entertain you guys. There we go. Let's see if I can manage this without getting a bunch of it on the counter. Maybe I should switch to my other spoon. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to get back on to layering this thing and get it in the oven. And then I'm going to show you my lamb chops. Now, the lamb chops I actually cooked the other night. And I cooked them with the intent of not eating them that same night. Why? Because of the marinade that I put on them. And I'll tell you a little bit about that marinade in just a minute. It looks like I'm running short on cottage cheese here, but you know what? I am going to make it stretch, because that's what a good artist does. A good cook, good artist, whatever. Good artist is running low on paint, he gets creative, right? And a good cook, if he's running low on product, he finds a way to make it stretch. And that's exactly what I'm going to do here. As you can hear, I am scraping the bottom of the barrel here. But guess what? That is just enough to get in there and get that layer going there. Boom. We got them in there. All right. So that's the end of the cottage cheese. And I'm just going to put this to the side for now. I'm going to rinse it out later and pop that in the recycle bin. And I'm going to have a sip of this Cabernet here. So tasty. Okay. And we're going to go on with our final layer of cheese. And I'm just going to throw some herb on top of this just as a garnish, because it looks pretty when you're done. But final layer of mozzarella cheese. Now this is, I typically shred this a little bit more stringy than it is now. This is like really finely shredded. But the good thing about that is it's going to melt very nicely. And you know, when that mozzarella melts nicely, and you get that spatula out to start to serve yourself when it's done. And I'm going to come back and show you what this looks like when it's all finished. But when you get that thing on that spatula and put it on that plate, and that mozzarella is pulling, I don't want to say what it looks like. I do not want to say what it looks like, but I will say a 4-letter word. It looks good. I was going to say delicious, but delicious is not a 4-letter word. So, all right, now I got some leftover eggplant here, but I think what I'm going to do is just put some hot sauce on it and eat it like it's chip or something. I don't know. I've run out there. So I'm going to put this spoon to the side. And pardon me, I got a rag here. Give me just a minute. I'll be right back with you guys. Just going to grab some, what are we going to do? Going to do a little bit of ground parsley and a little bit of ground oregano just to kind of garnish it, make it look nice and pretty. And fellas, for those of you that say you don't cook, let me tell you something. If you're single and you learn these techniques, you're gonna have no problem bagging the honey. Because girls don't talk about this, but they like to eat as much as we do. I know some of y'all out there saying amen like we in church, but it's true. Alrighty, so I got a little bit of oregano on there and a little bit of fresh parsley. And now I'm gonna take this and put this in the oven. And when I come back, I'm gonna show you, I'm just gonna open up the lamb chops in the foil so you can see what they look like before, and then we'll do an after once I'm done roasting them. So give me a second, I'll be right back. So we're back, and I told you before, so we got the eggplant parmesan in the oven, and now I'm gonna show you my lamb chops that I talked about just a few minutes ago. All right, so here are our lamb chops. As I told you before, they've been sitting in the refrigerator. I cooked these, lightly cooked them 2 days ago, and just allowed I wanted this to sit 2 days inside of the seasoning and the marinade that I had it in. And of course, I can't tell you what I put in it because that's proprietary. So the only way you'll ever know what I do with my meat is to watch me. And you better have a spy camera in here because nobody comes in the kitchen when I'm prepping my meat. So anyway, that probably didn't sound right. But anyway, here we go. So these were cooked at 250 degrees for about, I want to say about 2.5 hours. And I took them out. And as you can see, there's still a nice healthy layer of fat on the top. So I'm going to put this back into the oven with the eggplant parmesan that has about 18 minutes left. And it's cooking right now at 350 degrees. So this will go back into the oven on that 350 just to warm them up. And when the eggplant parmesan comes out, I'm going to switch this over to broil. And I'm going to broil it for about maybe 5 minutes at 500 degrees and get a nice sizzle to that top layer of fat. And when that's done, we're going to take them out, cut them, and we're going in. All right, folks, as you can see, we have the finished product here. So the eggplant parmesan came out a little bit more watery than I wanted, but that's just a little bit. As you can see right here, you got a little bit of the extra juice that came off the cottage cheese. And that particular, again, I was just trying to make it spread. Usually I drain the cottage cheese off, and I didn't do it this time. Just late and tired. But anyway, that's not going to take anything away from the tastiness of this dish. I wish that that video somehow captured the aroma that came out of that oven when I opened it up. But so there's the eggplant parm, and then here's your lamb chops. As you can see, I let them cook just a little bit longer to heat up, and then I went over the top with a little bit of the broiler just to give the fat a nice brown and crisp to it. So I'm going to cut this stuff up, and I'm going to plate it. And I would normally go with a salad or something with this, but that's a little bit extra. It's kind of late, and I'm not going to eat a lot, honestly. I'm just going to have maybe a couple spoonsful. Who am I kidding? I'm about to go in on this. So, folks, again, I just wanted to give you guys a sense of what I do when I'm in the kitchen, and that's about it. So I hope that you enjoyed spending a little bit of your evening in my kitchen watching what I do when I do what I do. And I'm gonna have to turn the cameras off because what's about to happen with this plate, you don't want to see it. So thanks, folks, and you guys have a good night. I'm about to enjoy my dinner. If you got any questions or any comments, just shoot them down below. Thanks.